The Cubs get a much-needed walk-off, come-from-behind win after blowing it on Wednesday. The win was Thursday. Sorry. I'm David Butler, and this is Clark and Addison, Born into the Ivy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review along with a comment or two on YouTube and or any audio platform. The Athletics review. The first game was just pathetic offensively. Jameson Taillon finally did something after many starts where he was not very good, period. He only allowed 2 runs. Unfortunately, one of them was a home run again to Nick Kurtz. But Pete, Nico, and Bush added a hit. Pete had 2 hits and I think a walk on Tuesday night. Nico had a hit and a couple walks. But you're not getting hits. The walks don't matter. They only scored 1 run off Gage Jump, who had a 7.2 ERA in his only start before this game. And they scored it in the first inning. Then Pete got picked off trying to steal third, and it just killed any possible drive. And apparently killed it for the rest of the game as 17 batters got retired in a row. Pitiful. Offense is just so terrible some nights. Wednesday's game was a complete meltdown at the end. Caleb Thielbar fell apart in the 8th, giving up a couple runs to allow the A's to come back and tie the game in the 8th inning. And the Cubs couldn't add runs in key spots late in the game, which is, again, habitually a familiar story with the offense. On Thursday's game, though, was an awesome come-from-behind win that we just talked about. Dansby Swanson finally comes through with a clutch hit in the 9th to tie the game and bring Pete back up to get his first ever walk-off hit as a Chicago, period, in his pro career. This is after Pete had an eventful 6th inning. After losing a ball in the lights, he allowed a 2-run inside the park homer to Shea Langeliers, who doesn't need help. The dude hit an actual home run before that. I mean, the inside the park is an actual home run, but you know what I mean. In the bottom half of that inning, though, Pete hit a home run himself to score another run, and then kind of celebrate as he come around third. I've seen a whole lot of things on social media about this. Yeah, I think ultimately I prefer that he not showboat in that instance after losing the ball in the lights. But people are acting like this guy, like nobody ever loses the ball in the lights. I get it's not a common occurrence, but it happens. And really, anybody who has played any kind of night baseball, even when you were younger in Little League or in Pony or whatever, Cal Ripken League, whatever, American Legion ball, high school, college, any of it, kids, anybody who has played any kind of extended baseball at night has lost a ball in the lights or in the sun. To act like it is just a catastrophe, and I mean, it is a catastrophe for the game, but to act like Pete did it on purpose, because that's the way some of these people are acting, is ridiculous. Or that he's just not trying hard enough. Anybody who's watched this kid and this guy knows that that's just not true either. And I get that I've been hard on other players, and I know that they're trying and everything else. But Pete's like the one guy who is hitting right now, along with Bush and maybe Happ. I don't know, man. I don't understand why he gets so much hate. Like, he's definitely the lightning rod of the team. And even, like, nationwide. I think it's because of the showboating. I mean, that's probably it. Like I said, I prefer, in that instance, man, just round your bases, take the 9th home run, and go sit down. Do all the showboating you want after you hit that walk-off. That was awesome. and the two things combined completely redeemed it. And I didn't see any tweets from the guys that I saw really blasting him. I didn't see anything about, oh man, he made up for it, blah blah blah. The people who were tweeting that he made up for it weren't tweeting the other crap. That's what I saw. I mean, I don't see other people who had made those other tweets slamming him and all that crap, saying, "Oh, he made up for it." You got to have some consistency with your. I mean, praise the guy when he does good. Don't just slam him. All right, I'll shut up about that. But I do want to touch on Shota Imanaga because he ended up giving up 4 home runs. One of them was the inside to Parker that maybe shouldn't have been a home run. I get that. But he did give up 3 others. And even without that, he would still be tied, or I think he would be tied for second in the major leagues behind his own teammate in home runs allowed at 16. 16 in 13 starts. Via Carson Wolf, Shota Imanaga has now had 4 straight starts where he's given up 5 or more earned runs, 2 or more home runs allowed, and 5 or more hits allowed. 4 straight starts. In his first 9 starts, this dude had a 2.32 ERA. In his last 4, it is 10.80, raising his overall season ERA to a now insane 4.74. Everybody was praising the hell out of Shota, as they should have after those first 9. I don't think he's as bad as these last 4 starts. But I'm going to say it again. Like, he's not as good as what he was in 24, and he's not as good as what he looked in the first 9. It was hopeful. I was hopeful. Shota's in the middle of that. But I don't know. Like, they thought they had it all figured out. He got some swings and misses yesterday, but like as the game went on, he just I don't know if he's tired or what. I don't know what's going on. I can't pretend like it's flabbergasting. Same with JMO. They've got to be able to figure out how to keep the ball in the park, and it's an overall rotation and pitching staff issue. They're second worst in the majors with all that, with home runs allowed. And they got to figure it out because the offense can't score 7 runs every game. That's ridiculous to expect. The offense does need to do better than what they have, but if you go back and look at the last 24 games, I mean, I'm getting ready. Never mind. I'm getting ahead of myself. So just give me a second and I'll tell you all of it. Offense has continued to struggle, but since Memorial Day, they are 4-6. 4 of those team losses, though, the team only scored 1 run. They still lead the league in 4.22 runs allowed or runs left on base in scoring position. That was a lot. Runners left on base in scoring position per game, the Cubs lead the league by a lot at 4.22. There are only one other team that is over 4 runners per game, and that's the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm honestly shocked it's not more than that. I would have sworn that it was. That's for the season, the 4.22. I know I said since Memorial Day. Also, though, since Memorial Day. I'm sorry. Since June 9th, which was the day after the Cubs ended the second 10-game winning streak, the Cubs are 27th in runs scored with 81 total. That's over a 24-game span and averages 3.4 runs per game, and they have gone 6-18 in that time span. 13 of those 24 games, the Cubs have scored 2 runs or less, and not surprisingly, they have gone 1-12 in that time. 1-12 in 13 games where they've scored 2 runs or less. at the risk of yet again beating a dead horse, the approach offensively has got to change at the very least when there's at least 1 or 2 outs and there are runners in scoring position. At all costs, you need to try to get those damn runners in. And I know that they're still trying, but the approach that they're using isn't working. They have to hit the ball the other way. Nico did it beautifully last night. And he finally, we hadn't seen that swing out of Nico in a minute. He inside out of that ball. It was in on his hands, and he just drove it the other way. That's what you got to do sometimes, folks. The situational hitting has got to be brought back. I know that it's changed for a lot of situations, but it has something that I think it would help give the Cubs a competitive edge. It does the Brewers. You see them doing it, and it's not just the Brewers. The Rays do it too. Why are these small market teams doing it? Because they can't afford the other high profile power hitters. But you can't live and die all the time with power hitters and trying to slug the ball all the time. You want to slug the ball. I understand that. Sometimes you just got to take what you can get. And situational hitting matters dramatically. Dramatically. All right. San Francisco Giants preview. The Giants come into this series at 25-38. They've won 2 in a row against the Brewers and are 3-7 in their last 10. 26th in runs per game at 3.97, while the Cubs are 8th at 4.7. The team ERA for the Giants is 4.58, which is 23rd in the majors. The Cubs continues to stay around just over 4 at 4.17. They're 18th in the majors now. The starting pitching for both teams is atrocious. For this overall, the ERA for the season. The Giants have a 4.83 ERA, 28th in the league, and the Cubs are 4.73, 26th in the league. Where they differentiate, both teams' relief pitching is far better, but the Giants are in the middle, the Cubs are top 10. The Giants are allowing 4.25 runs, or a team ERA of 4.25, 16th in the majors with their relief pitching. And the Cubs are 3.38, which is far better, and 9th in the league with the relief pitching. Which, again, is shocking with all the injuries they had early. But the guys, they've settled in outside of what Caleb did the other night. The relief pitching is not a major concern. There are times when it creeps up. It's going to for everybody. But overall, that's where we're solid. The bullpen the starting pitching gets a big shot in the arm starting today as Jordan Wicks comes out of it and Edward Cabrera makes his return from his blister. Hopefully that's all behind him and we see the dynamite stuff that this kid has and this kind of reverses the season. Robbie Ray goes for the Giants. The game is at 2:20 today and Saturday, an 8:10 Sunday night game against the Giants this week. Friday, Robbie Ray, 3-6, 4.45 ERA against Edward Cabrera, who is 3-2 and a 4.00 ERA. Again, hopefully we see that kind of turn for him and he starts pitching the way we all expected when he was traded for this offseason. On Saturday will be right-handed pitcher Landon Roop, 5-6 with a 4.22 ERA against Ben Brown, who is 2-2 with a 1.92 ERA. The ace of this staff and a guy who needs to stay in this staff or in this rotation, no matter who else comes in and comes back. On Sunday, right-handed pitcher Trevor McDonald, 2-3 with a 4.50 ERA, will go against Jameson Taillon, who will make his second straight Sunday night start in prime time. Jameson 2-5 with a 5.13 ERA. No, I'm sorry. Jameson pitched Tuesday. I apologize. Colin Ray pitched last Sunday, I think. I could be wrong. I mixed up. Never mind. Anyway, hopefully JMO gets a second straight start. That would be nice, and it is much needed. and we can get things going again. Offensively, the Giants are led by Casey Schmidt with a 844 OPS, Jung Ho Lee with an 803 OPS, and Luis Ariz, who has an 800 OPS. They also have guys like Rafael Devers, Bryce Eldridge, and Willie Adames, who are very capable. Bryce Eldridge, in minimal at bats so far this year, has been very good. Devers had a really slow start, got hot, and seems to have tapered off again right now. Adames is kind of hit and miss, but Adames has killed the Cubs in the past when he was with the Brewers. So don't sleep on the guys, on any of those guys. They have capable players. Whether or not they do it is a different thing. They obviously haven't so far this year for the most part, but the Cubs pitching staff ain't great, especially the starters. We do have Cabrera and Brown. I expect big things with those guys, and think that this should be very successful starts for both of them. The bullpen for the Giants is led by Matt Gage, left-handed pitcher with a 2.63 ERA. Sam Henkes, also a lefty, with a 2.08 ERA. And right-handers, Keaton Wynn, a 2.30 ERA. And old friend, former Cub, and also former Giant, now current Giant again, Caleb Killian, with a 3.58 ERA. Thank you for watching and or listening to Clark and Addison Born into the Ivy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and leave us some comments on YouTube and or any audio platform. Have a great day, and let's go Cubs!
Go, Cubs, go!